A satisfying salad needs more than just lettuce. You want color, texture, flavor, protein, and a dressing that's so good you'll crave it. This salad hits all those marks. Starting with the veggies, fun add-ins, then I'll show you how I make my baked tofu so yummy, and finally we'll finish it off with this spicy cashew dressing that pulls it all together. The tofu came out really nicely. Like I could seriously drink this. So first up we have our veggies, and I'm going to use some romaine lettuce today. I like to use a mix of veggies for their variety of nutrients and also the textures and flavors. I really love romaine lettuce, and so I'm going to use that along with some red cabbage. I often like to use arugula, but I ran out today. I love to add apples to my salad. You can use any kind of fruit you like. I like to use green apple though for the sweet tartness that you get from the green apple. It's so good. Adds such a crunch and punch of flavor. I love it. And you could always add dried fruit as well, like raisins, or I get these dried apple rings and I like to slice those up really fine, and it adds such a nice chew and sweetness. Red onion, I'm just chopping up really fine. Always like to add onions for their health benefits and flavors and a nice crunch. Also, don't sleep on fresh herbs. These are add so much flavor to salad. Yeah, so I had this basil in my garden, so I just picked a few leaves up and just chopping that up and putting it in there. And then I have these cherry tomatoes as well. Also added some chickpeas, and I just opened a can of chickpeas, drained, rinsed, and put them in here. You can roast them if you wanted to. Pickled banana peppers that I got from the farmer's market. I usually like to add something pickled, like I make these pickled red onions. I actually have a video showing how to make quick pickled red onions, and they are really good, so easy to do, and just add such a pop of color and flavor. Just tossing that up. And now we're going to set that aside, and I'm going to make the tofu. I'm using firm tofu today, and this is tofu that I actually frozen and thawed. And there's so many different types of tofu, and to make cubed tofu, like baked tofu for salads, I like to use firm or extra firm or super firm. And you can freeze and thaw your tofu to get a different texture. That's something that I like to do. And there are just so many ways to prepare tofu. So this is just one. I'm pressing the tofu here just to get rid of the extra water, all the water that's been released in the tofu from the freezing process. And it's a lot. I mean, this is like a cup worth of water in this from this block of tofu. So you can really see how it just pulls the water out, and it really makes this like a sponge that will just absorb the marinade like immediately. So you don't even have to like marinate it or let it, marinate for a period of time. It just instantly brings and pulls in those the flavor and the marinade and stuff. So yeah, so it's pretty remarkable all the things you can do with tofu and ways you can prepare it. So now I'm just going to cut it up into cubes. These are about a half-inch cubes. You can do whatever size you want, but I like to do smaller, so because that it gives you more flavor. Because we're gonna also toss this in some cornstarch as well, which is going to give you added texture and on the outside of it too. So that's why I like to do it in smaller cubes. And now I'm just going to toss those cubes into a bowl and add some marinade. I'm starting with just some soy sauce, and then I decided to make a little bit more of a marinade with rice wine vinegar and then the soy sauce, and also some maple syrup. It adds a really nice balance of flavors. And you'll see here the marinade just gets absorbed right away in the tofu. Just going to add so much flavor. And then we're going to get some cornstarch on top of that, and coat them in cornstarch. And yeah, so I like to put the cornstarch in a strainer and sprinkle it in that way so it doesn't clump up. So it just distributes the cornstarch nicely. So just toss that a little bit. And then I'm just going to get this all onto a parchment lined tray and pop it in the oven. I actually have an air fryer setting in the oven, so I'm going to use that at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. It worked out to be, but ovens vary, so just, keep an eye on it and toss it every now and then. So I usually just toss it halfway through, and so it cooks evenly on all sides, and you get a nice outside texture, and it's a little crunchy and chewy, and yeah, it's so good. The texture changes so much when you bake it. And now the dressing. I'm so excited for you to try this. It's so good. A salad is only as good as the dressing, and you can have a very boring salad or a very boring plate, and if you have a drizzle on top or a dressing, it's going to take it to another level. So I love this dressing. I used to get it all the time at this place, Sweet Green, in New York City when I lived there, and it was so good, and so I had to recreate it. So this is my version of their spicy cashew dressing. We're going to start with cilantro. And if you don't love cilantro, you could also use parsley. I haven't made it that way before, but I have no doubt it will be delicious. If you had the spicy cashew dressing at Sweet Green, this is pretty much a really solid dupe for that. I adapted it from the recipe that Sweet Green posted. I'm doing this oil free though. I'm removing the bottom part of the stem, but keeping the rest of it. Since I'm using an immersion blender, I'm just breaking it apart so it'll blend nicely. Cashew butter. Fresh ginger. Rice wine vinegar. Maple syrup. Pepper flakes. Use fresh squeezed lime juice. Fresh garlic. Instead of oil, I'm going to use the aquafaba, which is the bean water, replace the oil since I was already using the chickpeas in the salad. A little pinch of salt. Could do a couple pinches. And now we blend. Wow, that is so delicious. That is so, like, I could seriously drink this. It's tangy, spicy, it's perfect. And let's taste it with some lettuce. That is so good. So good. So this is just packed with flavor and lots of protein and all kinds of nutrients with all those vegetables and the beans.